The Big Old Belt Wrestling Podcast is on the air for this Thursday, December 7th, 2017. It's Jamal. 2 Chainz are here also. What's going on, man?
What up, man? How you doing?
And if you're keeping score at home, it's episode 181 on your Big Old Belt score sheet. And it's going to be a pretty chill show. It's been kind of busy. It's been a very big December with a lot of guests, a lot of shows. Obviously, I'm decked out in Toronto Blue Jays gear because I was just up there in Canada for the Canusa Classic, which was fantastic.
Talk about it a little.
We'll cover that. Yeah, we'll cover that a little bit later on.
Okay.
But today we're going to be joined by Josh from Crab Wrestling, and they have a big show that's going to be happening this weekend, tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow, yeah, Facebook Live.
Right. So that's tomorrow on Facebook Live, and we'll get you all the information that you need to know about that. And then, of course, Nova Pro will be having their big show, first ever show in December, coming up on the 28th, and we'll give you tease that a bit because some matches are starting to come, to the light. Mike's Twitter has been, kind of busy, and got some things to talk about there, and of course, the news of the week in the wrestling, and I think we should start off with arguably the biggest story of this week. Matt Hardy is finally, woken.
Wait, two things to add to that. Number one, and before we go to news, don't forget too, we do got some. We also got some things up our sleeve coming up towards the for this month too. 2 more guest interviews to knock out, so be on the lookout for them. I'm very excited for both of them, respectfully, and we'll be promoting. Expect to see something tomorrow on our social media, but the interviews ain't stopping. It's only picking up, so stay tuned for that. That's going to be really fun.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. It's always a good time to talk to talent. These are the people. These are the people that you need to know right now.
Yeah. So, not even just that, friends too. They're friends. That's the best part. So the show's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But Matt Hardy is woken, and for me, because I didn't watch Raw on Monday. The question really comes to for me is it too little too late? I did see the promo that he did with Bray Wyatt and that video package, and that was fine. But are we, is it more of a wait and see right now? Or is this like legit hype, or are we just cautiously optimistic that WWE will absolutely screw this up?
So I like to say, number one, as far as it being the biggest news this week, it's definitely up there. It's definitely one of the most positive of news this year because Twitter was out of hand the last 2 days. The wrestling Twitter was out of hand on negative news. So I like that you bring light to this, saying that this was the biggest news in absolutely a positive standpoint. So kudos to you for that one. But I have to say, as a bitter fan, I was excited that they pulled the trigger. I mean, they teased it. And, it was arguably one of the hottest things last year in wrestling. So now it's in WWE. Now the intrigue is like, how did they handle this? All of the TNA, Hootie and the Blowfish people seem to kind of be okay with it. They're, maybe they don't have the money to fight. So, they seem to come with some type of truce of saying like, oh, we're going to watch the gimmick. We're excited to see where it goes. So it's good to see that, the law and the systems out of it. So, hopefully they have fun with it. But yeah, has the torch blown over? I don't think so, because I still got the same jitters seeing it, considering that I don't think Bray Wyatt is very interesting at all. I mean, that Sister Abigail thing was in and out as fast as it could be. And I'm somehow still kind of intrigued with this. So Bray Wyatt's doing what he usually do, getting ready to put somebody over and disappear for a while.
Now here's the thing, though. As much as it's exciting to see Matt Hardy and the broken thing, and this is obviously a good move because Jeff is on the shelf right now, and we'll see what happens when he comes back. But because it's Bray Wyatt, who needs this more? Is it Matt to stay relevant and the Hardy Boys to stay relevant? I mean, their nostalgia act at WrestleMania was great, and people loved it, but we knew what we wanted to see. And then slowly, we started seeing Delete, and now he's officially woken. Because it's Bray Wyatt, a person that has been just mired by bad bookings and really just crummy positioning. does he need this more than Matt Hardy? And I think he does.
You know, I absolutely feel that injuries definitely put a stagnant on people's career, because Finn Balor had all the momentum in the world until he got injured. And even Seth Rollins felt a little like, what is he kind of doing once he came back? So this is absolutely the method to keep them very relevant. I mean, we don't know the extent of their contract, so you know, they are nostalgic at they are considered legends. They've been in the game a long time. Injuries is a real thing. Matt Hardy does a lot of crazy stuff, so him to sustain an injury definitely affects the way that he performs in the ring. Matt Hardy looks to be, you know, getting up in his age in some of his matches. So, you know, if you want to use this golden ticket that they basically brought them back for, you know, it works for all aspects. It takes him out of the ring as much. It keeps your partner relevant. It brings in money, you know, new merch. It's the right time to do it. It would not have made it if they would have waited. It wouldn't have made it to WrestleMania,
right?
Which is, you know, ultimately the end game for people. You know,
remember back, you know, it seems like so long ago, but the House of Horrors match was WWE's, you know, poorly conceived answer, the final deletion, or total nonstop deletion, or whatever, whichever one it was. Yeah. Now that we have Matt Hardy in WWE, and now that he's going this Woken path, and against Bray Wyatt, who's, you know, WWE's abyss, basically, which is how their thing got started in TNA. But the question now becomes, will they give him the actual full, no BS control? Will we see a final deletion type match at his home? You know, we'll send your Benjamin, polish the shovel.
Reba Hardy has been quoted as saying that Matt Hardy and WWE has something really, really special coming for you. Matt Hardy has been resurrecting all of his old tweets from before total nonstop deletion happened. So I think you're on a good point. It's to the point that I almost forgot that even happened, the House of Horrors thing. Actually, everybody forgot it happened. But
you should.
Yeah. But yeah. And but the real question is too, you know, Reba's talking. King Maxwell has been spotted at shows. He's made videos with the drone, forget the drone name, and then
Vanguard 1.
Vanguard 1. Or are they on 2?
They may be on 2.
Yeah. And with Senior Benjamin, you know, all these names are coming back, and they're using the names for what they are. So, yeah, I think something special is coming, and I think WWE is batshit crazy in order to try another incarnation of House of Horrors created by the Hardys. And not to mention, the Hardys still do have their spot in North Carolina, which I'm sure they'd be glad to say, all right, we'll just do it in your place, you know? So
now, considering that, and it's the last thing, and we'll move on, but this is considering that the Hardy Boys and Jeff is injured, and you know that it is Bray Wyatt. Should the Wyatt family return as a trio? Should they trade whatever the hell Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are on SmackDown, like some World of Warcraft players? Should they trade them to Raw, get the original Wyatt family back, and take on the Hardys for real? Or is it too little too late for them since they've gone off and started cosplaying Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, too late for them. But I do think this is an opportunity to give some of these tag teams who have nothing going on something cool to do. At the same time, you know, who was in Total Nonstop Deletion? I mean, obviously, yeah, we know a lot of the people that was in there.
Sandwich Squad?
Yeah, right. Sandwich Squad. But at the same time, like, it did them wonders, you know? People were like, you know, on the indie teams, like, hey, you know, I'll send you on there, blah, blah, blah. It's a cool thing to be part of it because it was probably one of the coolest but craziest things I've ever seen. Considering that they might have a bigger budget too, it can even get crazier. I mean, could you even imagine if like WWE films and studios decided they wanted to get a take into this too?
Well, yes, and that's part of the problem that I have. part of the greatness of the Hardys deletion a series was how poorly produced it was. It was like, what if you and your friends took your iPhone into your backyard and just did the craziest shit you could imagine safely, and just said, you know what? It was a backyard wrestling tape from like '99.
You know what? It was TNA, and they were perfectly fine with it because it was probably the best production I've ever seen from them. So,
well,
you know,
I mean TNA, you know, their crappy production values notwithstanding, it was so bad that it was good. Like,
yeah.
you know, you having Ricky Morton stuck on a cherry picker. You're throwing Shane Helms into the lake of reincarnation, and he came back as the Hurricane. He came back as three count, and then got knocked out into the Hurricane.
That's right. That was pretty awesome.
You know, Jeff Hardy as Willow. You know, and that whole deal. It's so bad that it's good. It's like watching Showgirls or watching the Room or watching one of those movies that, you know what, like Independence Day is a terrible movie, but it's so much fun that you don't care. And I think that that's what the Hardys brought with that whole thing, and that's why it took off. So I think that WWE, they have a penchant for trying too hard. And I would hope that if they decide to do, you know, what they do, that they could let Matt Hardy just give him the reins and let him direct it.
Yeah, that's the big question is how much creative do they get from WWE? And I'm hoping a lot because
I don't want Kevin Dunn touching this.
Yeah.
And I don't want Kevin Dunn touching this. I don't want the final deletion sponsored by like Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
Or Monster Energy Drink or Rocket League.
But Rocket League. But look, the good thing that you can think about this is Reba is talking and is happy. Happy Reba means that she must have her hands in it, and she knows that her husband and her family is involved in it. If it wasn't that matter, then an angry Reba will be out there making interviews talking about how she doesn't like it. So I think it's good. I'm excited. It was crazy. I like how they did it. It just feels good to see a happy ending to this because Lord knows before it was just like it may not have just worked. So
right. So it's good, but I am cautiously optimistic, and but honestly, it's arguably the most exciting thing they have because, you know, people are interested to see what's going to happen next, and that's what you want. Just let them go. Let them go work. Now, I did say that we had a guest today, and you want to bring him in now?
No. Let's hold on.
Yeah. That's, you know, if Josh is ready, I think we should have at it.
Okay, let's do this. What's up, buddy? Uh-oh, hold on. Hello, Josh. Josh, my bad about that. You are there.
Why are you going,
dude? Josh Fuller here of Fuller House. So let's get right into it. We already talked about in the beginning of the show that you will be joining us because Crab Wrestling does have their event coming on tomorrow, Facebook Live. We knew there were some unfortunate circumstances, but it didn't hold you guys back. You will still be going live tomorrow, and let's talk about it. So that's what you're here for. The floor is yours.
Yeah.
Dude, the floor is all yours,
man. I mean, they give us the big sell, so who's going to be there? Yes,
Let's
you
just
definitely
make sure.
have a honey glaze
Josh,
right now.
Hey, just so we make sure we're perfectly correct. Rejoin the video one more time, just to make sure, because you do have this glow on you. Come right back. Hey guys, we gotta make sure we get this right, man. We gotta make sure we get this right.
When you have Josh Fuller on, you got to make sure that he is absolutely at his best. So, so that's great. I mean,
the floor is mine. The floor is mine. Stop talking.
Yes, it is.
The floor is mine. I'm gonna put on sunglasses for this.
Oh, that's not douchey at all.
What? Excuse me?
Your excuse. Go ahead.
Your hat matching your jacket is douchey right now. You're the one trying to have your own little get up right now, talking about douchey. Let me enjoy my sunglasses. My lighting is very bright, okay? My lighting is very bright, which is why I have sunglasses. Now let me do my
Would you not want to conserve energy?
You do your job, and you listen to me, okay? Okay.
Okay. I'll listen next to this mute button. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, our first match for Crab Wrestling is against one man that I believe you two know, Isaiah Frazier, the Gifted. Over at Nova Pro, he's kind of, coming up and kind of making a name for himself. However,
with a good win over Dirty Money.
He did. Coach Gator came out. I don't know anything about that. I don't think he knows anything about that. Regardless, over on Crab Wrestling, however, Isaiah Frazier is definitely established. I would say he's maybe the most established professional wrestler in Crab Wrestling. He's definitely like a franchise player for us. He's kind of like our golden boy, if that makes sense. We've brought in guys like Jonathan Gresham. Just a whole bunch of names have came in specifically just to wrestle Isaiah Frazier, Cheeseburger. But he makes his return to Crab Wrestling tomorrow on Facebook Live against somebody making their Crab Wrestling debut in Chikara's own Hermit Crab.
Ooh.
And I just want to say, once again, to toot my own horn, not making this about me, but how amazing is it that Crab Wrestling has a crab? It writes itself.
Yeah. No,
Hermit Crab.
It does.
I've been doing a little bit of research on that fellow. He's a wacky one. He is. I don't know what his deal is. I don't know how to explain him. He's just a crab. He's too salty. That should be something tomorrow. I don't know what to expect, which is why I want to see it. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow. But that'll be opening up our show. Actually, that's not true, because opening up our show will be me with a live microphone and Mac Buckler by my side.
And that is Mac Buckler is your champion, yeah.
The chosen champion. The chosen purchased champion, shall I say.
The chosen champion. By the heavens, not just me. As I said the last time I was on your show. But
so he was anointed.
He was definitely anointed. The gods said Mac Buckler should be your champion, and I made sure that Mac Buckler became the Crab champion, and he will be the Crab champion forever and ever and ever.
He's also because you kind of proposed to him too, so that will make him your what?
Hey.
It's legal in Maryland.
Hey, we were in Virginia, first of all, and it was a business proposal, okay? He is not my lifetime partner. He is just my partner through wrestling groups. You know what I mean, okay?
But does he know that?
Yes,
he knows it, and he accepted it.
I got down on one knee, and I said, Mac Buckler, will you be my champion forever? And he said yes, and now he will be my champion forever. Don't make it weird.
Oh, I don't think I have to do that.
I think you're making
it's already gotten there.
I think you're making it weird.
Fair enough.
Now, can I get back to the card?
Go for it.
You're gonna keep on talking, blue hat.
You can see colors through his Pauly short glasses. That's sweet.
I don't like this guy's mouth. I thought the other guy was bad.
Why are you talking about my mouth after you're talking about your champion? What's wrong with you, dude? It's okay. Calm down. Okay, I mean, you're a little salty right now. You're a crab. I get it. Frustration Nation. But calm down. Let's get it back to a good place.
This is your guy.
Go ahead.
That's your guy.
That's my guy.
And you can.
This is your guy.
If you can stop breathing through your mouth, that would help also.
That's your co-host.
That's my guy.
That's your co-host. That's your equal.
That's my co-host.
Anyway, I wish I could help you. I cannot. Let's go back to the card. The next match on the card is a triple threat match between the Lethal One, John Washington. And I like John Washington, okay? John Washington is a guy who never stops running his mouth. I'm not like that personally. So I think that's why I enjoy him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's kind of, different for me because I'd never run my mouth personally.
Yeah, you have a thing with mouths, I see.
Can you tell him to shut up so I can do my thing?
Do the thing. I'm not stopping you. It's just an observation.
I'm trying to do the thing, Jamal. Your name's Jamal, right? Or is that the other one?
Yeah, he's Jamal, and he's also a crab too.
That's the other one because we all look alike. How dare you, sir?
It says Jamal. I just want to say it says Jamal. Let me get back into my match. The Lethal One, John Washington, is a guy who's came to his own lately. And, the one thing is his mouth kind of distracts him a little bit. So we'll see how he does tomorrow. We also have in that match Ernesto the Night Owl. I know that we have a lot of animals in Crab. This man
like a petting zoo.
This man is an owl. He hoots. The crowd loves him. I don't know why. I think they just like hooting. I don't understand it. People are dumb. But he does a lot of flips that are kind of impressive that I can't do. But, yeah, he kind of came up with me in crab wrestling. But regardless, he's in the match. And we also have, last but not least, a newcomer to crab wrestling. Somebody who's only been with us for a few months now. El Kachi. He actually made his in-ring debut a few months ago. To professional wrestling in general. I've taken a liking to El Kachi personally. He's making a name for himself, and he has that je ne sais quoi, shall I say. He has just that hunger that I enjoy. So it's a match of three people trying to make a name for themselves, guys that don't typically get the opportunities that they probably want. So we'll see how that goes tomorrow. I think that's a match that they're going to go all out for. You should tune into. Now, your main event for the evening. We have Mikey Banker. And for those of you who do not know who Mikey Banker is what's the word? We'll say charismatic to be nice. But he's a different breed of person, of human. He just kind of he has his own little personality that I think is very irritating, but people love him. And he's been doing big things recently in crab wrestling. And he's definitely a younger guy. He's about my age, and I am, well, shocker, pretty young. And he's just, I don't appreciate how far he's come. I don't like the fact that he's as good as he is right now. So I will be testing Mikey Banker by putting him in a match just for his own good, to show him where he's at against not only the Southern Maryland Crab champion and the championships on the line, but more importantly, a member of Fuller's House in Ivan Ali. So that should be something. Ain't that something, or whatever Mikey Banker's catchphrase is. We'll see.
And that's tomorrow at what time?
9 p.m. You're not invited to watch.
Oh, don't worry. That's not a problem.
And make sure the links will be posted on their Facebook. That's at Crab Wrestling. You search it, it pops right up. Links will be all over Twitter at Crab Wrestling, or you can follow Josh also on Twitter at Josh Fuller. And also too will be
That's not what my Twitter is.
It's not your first name? Oh, your name. What is your Twitter?
That's not my Twitter. If you want to plug me correctly. I am at
what's your Twitter?
Josh Fuller.
It's in the link.
Josh Fuller PW on
Yes,
Twitter.
that's right. That's what it is.
Crab Wrestling. Follow Crab Wrestling. Follow Josh PW. Josh, you got me messed up now. Josh Fuller
you don't know your
PW on Twitter. RW Buckler on Twitter. If you like old people, follow Money Vices on Twitter. If you like bald people, follow Sin Vices on Twitter. If you like old and bald people, follow Capital Vices _ on Twitter.
So we do have that show coming up tomorrow. What can we look forward to from Crab Wrestling 2018?
Ooh, you see, I could tell you that, but I don't think that I should right now. So I think you kind of just have to follow us and find out for yourself. We definitely have some big things up and coming in 2018. I will say we will be returning to Powerbomb TV. If you have not checked out our current event that is on Powerbomb TV from some date back in September, I don't remember the day. It's on Powerbomb TV on Crab Wrestling. Go check out that. Watch that whole show. And and most importantly, make sure you're following us on Facebook at Crab Wrestling so you can see our show tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Sounds good. All right. Well, yeah, you heard the guy. Crab Wrestling. Expect to hear a lot more from him coming from our show. We will definitely help promote. Make sure you guys are in the know about all the good wrestling that's going to be in this area. Josh Fuller of Fuller House, ladies and gentlemen. Again,
and tell that dude with the blue hat, stop looking so dumb.
Josh Fuller, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, you know, is this like the crab in the barrel syndrome that's going on here between you two?
I don't know. I think he's on his period.
Okay.
And that's you know what? I think it's a heavy flow month. And I think that, you know what, dude, we're here for you. We are, you know, if you want me, I mean, we're in DC. It's not that far away. I will send down, what do you prefer? Summer's Eve? Your Massengill, what do you need?
Yep. Moving on.
To the Kickstarter.
So what else we talking about tonight, sir?
Actually, like, I just want to reiterate, though, all joking aside, Crab Wrestling tomorrow night on Facebook Live, 9 p.m. I mean, you're going to get some interesting products. There's a lot of guys that are, you know, new to the business, just starting out. Josh Fuller, you know, he's, you know, the proprietor of Crab Wrestling. He has a lot of things going on right now, including puberty that he's working out. So it's going to be a learning experience for everybody. And I hope that you guys tune in on Facebook Live. And if you don't have Facebook, then you're probably over the age of 15. But it might be worth downloading again just to see some good old-fashioned and free live professional wrestling from Southern Maryland. And, well, if there's anything that Josh has told us today, he's definitely got crabs. So great, great, and we'll hope to hear more from Crab Wrestling in the future. Along here.
Yeah, and just to let people know too, like Crab Wrestling, a lot of those guys, you've seen some of these guys working over pro. So if you know pro fans, you know they're all coming from great Tulich, the training center that they all train from. Good head, a good lead there. So you know we're not just for the sake of just throwing out names, just because these are a lot of good times that will be coming up for sure. So you know it's free. You can't lose there. So, yeah, it'll be on Facebook. I'll be curious to see if there's any type of integration to see if we can probably help them get on other platforms as well. But it's there and it'll be free. So stay tuned for that. And it will be.
If I'm willing to be insulted by a transgendered hobbit, then I would say it's up to you to go ahead and make that worthwhile and tune in tomorrow night on Facebook Live. You can do it anywhere you like, on your phone, on your computer. It's Facebook, and everybody has it. So
actually, I just thought about that. You don't even need a Facebook account to look at it, because if it's open, then
right. But you need the app, and if you don't have it, then go get it. And you don't need an account to watch on your PC. But Crab Wrestling of Maryland on the Facebook Live at 9 p.m.
I said about 5 matches. Should be about an hour and a half. What's up, my man?
So nice of you to join us.
I know, right?
No, I
Better
mean
late than never.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Today has been a very interesting show. We just had Josh Fuller on from Crab Wrestling, and because we like the wrestling and not necessarily Josh, we had to endure that. But it was it's been a good time. It's been an interesting week. Matt Hardy's Woken. We talked about that for a little bit, and I want to bring up the next story that you just came into. Earlier today, the evening local time, the WWE is in Dubai, and for the first time ever, a women's championship match is going to take place for WWE in Dubai. Now, why is this a big deal?
Or has taken place?
Right, it has taken place because it already happened. It happened today, but because of the time change, it was this morning Eastern time. Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's Championship event, Dubai, UAE. That's a huge deal because of local customs as it relates to women. Actually, I think that Sasha Banks, and I don't know if you've seen it, but Banks's bodysuit is pretty badass, and I think that she should bring it home with her. It's kind of like an Iron Man suit, riveted chest plate thing.
Okay.
And it's definitely definitely worth checking out. But I think it's a huge deal that WWE is able to go to a place and challenge local customs and actually make some history in a very, very, very meaningful way. And good for Banks and good for Bliss. Now, the real question is, how much longer will Alexa Bliss continue this run at the top? And personally, she's not the best in-ring performer. I think that her mic work is 50-50. And even though Banks, has everything that she needs to be champion again, between her and Bayley, who's kind of falling flat right now, Nia Jax arguably deserves it, but would you want to see her in a 20-minute match? How much longer should Bliss hold that title?
Wait, did you completely take away from the fact that this is a big event? Like, Alexa Bliss is not even a factor, whatever her stature is in the WWE. It's the fact that they did this, because I thought this is what she was going towards. They were not back in United Emirates. This was not allowed. They completely was against this. Let's go back to last year where Darren Young was forced to leave the tour because of him being openly gay. So this is big on a lot of elements, and that it did happen. They conformed to it with bodysuits, and no matter who was in the match, nonetheless, the WWE they made this happen, which is a big thing. Period. So
right, but that's not a question though. And my question is, because I did say that this is a huge deal. Mm-hmm. It's an unbelievably monumental, historic occasion that probably got swept under the rug in the U.S. So yes, and I hope they televise the match live, because I would love to see how the crowd reacted to two women going at it. Though it's weird for us to see them in bodysuits and whatever, it's a historic deal. Mm-hmm. But since there is no question there, the question is, should it be Bliss in that situation? And since she is the champ, how long will she continue her run? Well, because of the fact that she really isn't like one of those. She's not at that Trish Stratus level. She's not at that, Jackie, or hell, even Ivory, or a Tori Wilson kind of a level where she should be a multi-time champion. Right. Banks is, Bayley was, and they really don't have anything else to put anybody. So the question is that Bliss got to, for whatever reason, got to make history with Sasha Banks in Dubai.
Well, think of it this
way. How long would she continue that position?
Think of it this way. Let's go back to 2009, 2010. The Miz, and I hate to compare them, but this is like the direct comparison I can make from that character, Miz 2009, 2010. He made history for himself when he main evented WrestleMania against John Cena, even though The Rock hosted it. And I think by that time, it wasn't saying The Miz was the best performer in WWE, but that's who they had to go with at the hot hand right now. Not even the hot hand, that's who they had. And I think that's a similar situation where Alexa Bliss is right now, because you're building a new brand of women's wrestling right now in WWE by bringing in, 6 new characters, 3 on SmackDown, 3 on Raw, which I think are very the same just a replicas of one on one side, one on the other. But she's the person that you're going to rock with right now. And it's like, just by chance, she just had the perfect timing where she's a person. So I just think it was lucky by her that she was the champion during this time. However, to answer your question, to see how long she'll do it, she might end up just going into Mania, just depending on how they'll develop these other characters or these other wrestlers. It's just a wait and see. If I was to say a personal thing, I would have her drop it at the Rumble.
Right.
Me personally.
You know,
Go ahead, James.
For this, it's a house show. I mean, half the rosters in San Diego for for SmackDown and for Tribute to the Troops. The other half is in this tour in the Middle East. So it just kind of falls into the pieces of the puzzle to say who's where and who's available. Alexa Bliss being the one to make this memorial event is because she is the champion, and I don't think it's like, well, we need to put our best two performers here. I don't think that was the thought process. I just think whoever it is available. I, under no circumstance, feel that this match by any means is going to be an instant classic. Jamal brings up the only point of intrigue is how did the crowd react to it, because Alexa Bliss has not put on a good match since she's been the champ. And even her working with Sasha Banks has even felt like weirdly enough, like terrible matches, like all-time lows for Sasha.
But there lies the question, though, and I'm not saying like trying to understand, like disassociate Alexa Bliss from this moment. The question is, should it have been her? Because we know that very few things are left to chance in WWE. We saw what Jinder Mahal did, and if you would have said, "Oh my God, this is a huge surprise," and then all of a sudden they buy half of India on the wrestling scene. So we know that they're making money moves.
It should have been Alexa Bliss. She's your champion. I have to think about who the second person could have been, but I'm sure they could have used somebody from their NXT roster or even from the Mae Young Classic who may have had some descent from the Middle East instead of Sasha, who should be the question of should it have been her? Because yes, again, the focal point right now in the women's division is the calling ups from NXT. That's what they're focusing on. Paige seems to be the mainstream about her, diabolic plan with forming this team. So it's not about Alexa Bliss being the champion, but she is the champion, so she does deserve to be there. But it would damn be cool if they actually went back to say, like, all right, now who's from the Middle Eastern descent that should be in the spot, even if we use them just for this show. They could have pulled the trigger and did something like that. That would have been cool. So
these bodysuits are nice.
No, I forget the person's name, but the person who designs their stuff, killing it. Very, very nice. Very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I really honestly, I would rock that. The bodysuit as a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Especially Sasha's one. That was very cool.
Sasha's one is tight. But yeah, again, the other big picture here is WWE is deciding to say we're knocking down all the barriers. We're doing all of the unthinkable things. Whatever is left that we have not done in the record books, we're trying to knock it all out. So, we had the intergender match, which is, there's been things of the past for sure, but to this new era hasn't been done. And to this, especially in this time now, is that more than ever the most sensitive thing you can do? And they've done it, and it worked, and it went over well. So it's just cool to see them taking chances or, patches to make things work. So overall, this is a success for society and WWE here.
All right. And so, right. So congratulations to both of them. It doesn't really matter how they got there, but the fact that they did it, the fact that it went down is like a huge step for women, especially women in wrestling in that part of the world. So both of them. Switching gears now, we're going to talk a little bit about Daniel Bryan. Now, obviously, he's been hinting at and he's been suggesting, dropping a little innuendo that he wants to wrestle when his contract expires, if not for the WWE. And I know that we talked about this before, whether he should or whether he shouldn't. I don't know what the deal is on SmackDown because I just don't watch it. Apparently, there's going to be some kind of shenanigans with him and Shane McMahon. The question really is now with Daniel Bryan, I know that he's been training with his wife, and I know that he feels that he is ready to go. Do we need Daniel Bryan in, let's say, WWE? Because I think the indies are a little bit different. But because if Daniel Bryan gets back in the ring in WWE, I think it will be the same thing as Kurt Angle getting back in the ring in WWE, which on paper was very cool, but was awkward as all hell.
Yeah,
I agree.
On TV.
Talk about awkward. Daniel Bryan Twitter page was super awkward once they figured out that he was going to be replacing Roman Reigns. So, I mean, he's younger. The state of his health seems to be a lot more.
He's 36 though, right?
Well,
I don't think it's the age necessarily that it is the swelling and cuts on his brain that is more disturbing.
That's why I think Daniel needs WWE more than WWE needs Daniel, and I think he could prove his worth more being in WWE than he would be in the indie scene.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to definitely take into consideration the injury or the damage that you can't see. But I mean, when you're talking about physical appearance, Kurt Angle looked like an old man in the ring.
Terrible.
And that's weirdly enough because he looked pretty decent in that match. I think, was it Rey Mysterio and the little legends? Was it Rey Mysterio or RVD? I forget who it was, but the little
I want to say it was Rey Mysterio, but I'm definitely thinking of the Cody Rhodes series that he had.
Yep.
Just before he joined, and that was back in June?
That's true, yeah. And he looked fine. So I was just like, okay, I'm cool with this. I don't know what happened, and obviously he's under a whole nother wellness policy being in WWE. Not saying that, whatever, but you do have to be a little bit more strict on what you take and use. I mean, obviously, that's caught a lot of other people up thinking that they can use their homeboy from around their way, and WWE's not having that. So who knows what's happening there? But he looked very sluggish. Daniel Bryan is younger. I'm sure his rehab had to be completely under WWE, so they are fully aware of everything he's been doing. He's in the system, so he probably has to drug test. And God knows how close he is with John Cena. And if he was doing anything wrong there, that Mr. Cena probably will be yapping him out about that. And being under the Bella statue too, that hurts their brand. So, Daniel Bryan's probably straight edge with this whole rehab thing as best as he can. And not only just that, it just caters to his lifestyle of how he eats and his whole natural well-being and everything. So I think he did everything physically possible to be ready. But Jamal, as he emphasized enough, it's the internal things that we worry about here.
Yeah, so exactly.
If his primary clears him and WWE feels sort of say, okay, we can do this, I feel that everybody, considering the money and the lawsuits that could be involved here, everybody has green light this over and over enough to make sure that it happens. So if they're good, we just have to let it go because, we've seen worse tragedies and injuries happen and people to come back. Like Tyson Kidd, God knows when I seen that X-ray. Please, Tyson, I like the guy. I like this Cesaro. Please never wrestle.
Well, whether it's Tyson Kidd and Samoa Joe, or whether it's Triple H, versus it's ripping it off the muscle of his bone.
Whoever he wrestles.
Antonio Cesaro versus like the ring post. Kevin Nash versus Gravity.
Mankind versus Life.
Brock Lesnar versus Gravity.
Right. So I mean, no matter who it is, those are hideous injuries, and those are things that will take with them for the rest of their lives. However, you only have one brain, and that is something that you cannot dick around with. It is the most. It's the most important thing next to the heart, arguably. Yeah. But you cannot screw around with the brain, and I think that for WWE, it is more of a liability issue than it is a scheduling storyline issue. Okay. And I think that that's something that we'll have to wait and see. His contract is up in October. Yeah. We'll see what he does, but I wouldn't want to see him go out there just to wrestle, just because he can tell himself he can do it. Yep. As much as I would love to see Barry Sanders again. Sorry, bro.
He's not injured though. He left on his own behalf.
Right, because he knew what it was, and he knew that he didn't want to be Earl Campball.
Yeah, and I want to see Ricky Williams play ball again too.
But on top of that, they don't want another Owen Hart situation to happen in the ring too.
Oh, wait a minute now. Now that was absolutely malfunction
Yeah, that was not comparable.
Yeah,
well,
that's
think
my.
about this. Think about this. If you have a brain injury that could be that serious and it could be a high risk.
But that's not the
Just
same
saying.
type of injury.
I
Owen
was
Hart took a swanton bomb off the roof and hit the ring post. That is not the same thing as a series of concussions.
Yeah,
but no,
the same
but
thing.
let's say for example, think back. Let's go Monday Night Football, and I'm bringing in my 49ers on this one. When Steve Young got knocked out by Aeneas Williams, that basically ended his career. That was like a big oh my god moment that was on live TV. I think if you have Daniel Bryan have one of those live moments, like oh my gosh, we knew he shouldn't have wrestled. That will be the same type of effect, not the same, but of similar, if it was to happen in that situation.
But at the same time, too, you comparing football, you do have these guys like one of my favorite players get a concussion every 3 games. But when he gets out on the field, I'm cheering for the guy. I'm talking about Luke Kuechly, who has dangerously had concussions over and over. And if they're clearing him and they're studying and science has progressed in a matter of what they're saying it is, we can only have faith that the science and the system is doing better, is doing as best as they can for the people. And concussion, CTE, and brain injuries are at its highest, most priority in sports right now.
Right. But that's why I do think, though, that because of the liability issue, that's the first hurdle. The second hurdle is working a program smart enough that doesn't, do that. And I think that's the easier part.
Yeah.
But it still comes down to, and that's the thing. If we do get Daniel Bryan in the ring, we should never see a flying headbutt again, ever. We should never see, certain things that make him what he is. So whether it was Daniel Bryan or Chris Benoit or somebody else who, you could definitely link, brain injuries to. The point is that if we see him, we won't see him as the person that we remember and like him for.
Yeah, but okay, so two things. Number one, the liability here, I don't even think now is totally clearing him. I think that WWE has been bullying the situation and contract structure to the fact that we do not have to clear you. And there could be other things in jeopardy. I mean, could you imagine the fact of like he's saying, okay, I'm one out of my contract, but this totally goes against him being able to appear on like Total Divas and Total Bellas, how that may affect their relationship with that, because that takes money out of their pockets, and or like, hey, you're on the contract for this time, so so you're not going crazy, not doing anything. We will give you something. We will put you close to the entertainment. We'll let you call commentary for one of the biggest tournaments ever. We will keep you relevant. And now, more than ever, now they're giving him storyline, which ultimately lets me know that this was a bullying factor in the first place, because it's all leading up to around WrestleMania season. And it's also leading up to, after WrestleMania season, you could be released if you want. So we can give you a complete storyline, fulfill it, and then let you go. Right. And then it just be, we're on happy terms here. So I just feel like WWE might have been bullying this whole situation, knowing that they had a lot of leverage, because we've seen it with people before. And another, a prime example of something like that is like Ricochet with Lucha Underground. So, there could be a lot of back scene bullying that's going on. And, the Bellas is not going to say that, because that jeopardizes them. But at the same time, she's like, oh, yeah, Brian, he's ready to go. He's fine. He's going to wrestle again. She's saying all the right things. You never hear them say all the wrong things. That's why, when Nikki was hurt, she was just like, I can't wait to get back in there. I'm doing all I can. Her neck injury was pretty damn gruesome, too. And we quickly forgot about that. Neck injuries is got to be right up there with brain injuries, because one little fracture in the neck and one of those veins or anything go wrong.
Anything that has to do with the spine, that's like level 5 shit right there. That's super important. The brain, the heart, circulation, that stuff is because you don't know. Yeah. You don't know. You could just drop. At a moment's notice. So
just like
good luck to Daniel Bryan.
The football player now that's going through that too. They're not even releasing any information about the state of the injury. The only thing that releases is that they did a spinal stabilization. So that's how big of a deal it is. Of course, they knew what was going on the first night, But, you know, and how social media is and press, stuff like that usually comes out right fast. But the fact that they were holding it lets you know how serious it is, point blank. And to Silly Seller's point, if Ryan Shazier does get cleared and is able to walk and everything like that, you even hear analysts saying, we hope to see him back on the field. We hope to see that he's able to walk and recover and stuff like that. You're not really hearing most people saying, like, that was pretty gruesome. This is pretty severe. Please retire. People just like, for the level of the sport, for the respect for the doctors, and you being able to make your own decision, we would like to see you continue your passion. I think that's what people need to do with Daniel Bryan here.
Right. Well, so let's move on to one more that WWE legend Rob Van Dam says that he will not be returning to WWE to wrestle again. Now, Van Dam has some other shenanigans going on with his divorce with his wife. That's a sad bit of business that I'm going to stay away from. And apparently, you don't know. And
not to get into it, but yes, because of his divorce, some of this stuff about WWE came out. So that's why all of this has just arose all of a sudden.
Right. So because of the injury that he suffered in the ring about a year ago in November, and that has left him incapable of working. That also disqualifies his royalties checks are running out on WWE. So there goes another bit of income that he won't be able to get. And because of the concussions that he had in that match and over the years, he's automatically been disqualified from WWE. They won't touch him. It's interesting, though, if they won't touch Rob Van Dam, but Daniel Bryan is, hopeful, that could be some indication of how serious or not serious Bryan's injuries are. But as far as RVD goes, with the whole, his merchandise deal expired 4 months ago. So, oops. Pro Wrestling Tees, get your Rob Van Dam shirts.
$1 each.
Well, I mean, it's still $1 more. So I would hope that he would do a one last run, but it's a shame to see that such a talent, it's going down the way that it's going down. But it happens, and you can only make the best of it. But shout out to Rob Van Dam, is one of my favorites.
Yeah, all the time. You definitely got to give respect for the guy's career. He worked ECW, the style of wrestling he has. He's always been in great shape. I don't think he's ever been any other type of, bad publicity up into. I mean, this is not even bad as his life sort of say with this, but the concussion. I don't even recall me even seeing a sign of it happening during the match. It just felt like his stint was over.
Right.
But his Royal Rumble return, I won't forget that. That was pretty awesome.
I would say ECW One Night Stand with him against John Cena. That was probably one of the best matches for that little short-term pay-per-view series. It was a classic, in my opinion.
But this is like you said, this tells you how unserious Daniel Bryan could be, because they're like, no, we're not even going down this path, sir. Right. No, because
with WWE, WWE is like, listen, Rob, don't call us. Yeah. We'll bring you back for the Hall of Fame ceremony. There'll be punch and pie. Don't call us. But then with Daniel Bryan, it's like, well, I don't know, maybe, possibly, but not. So either way, we wish them both the best and hope that they get things going in a positive direction in the future.
Yeah. Quick question on that: who do you guys think could be, like, just a quick reference as we get around WrestleMania season? Who could probably be a headline or a sub-headline for that Hall of Fame this year? That could be a surprise.
Who retired last year?
I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit. Goldberg is questionable. So
I forgot about him.
I don't know, dude. It's a little bit out, because there's no type of consistency, and there's people that that could have been considered last year that wasn't. So I'll expect Vader this year. Not sure if he's the headliner, so it has to be somebody completely relevant who could do some WWE 2K shenanigans. So
what about the Undertaker?
Maybe not yet, because they're saying he may work something. But it's possible. But again, what are the criteria for being in the Hall of Fame? Because you cannot work. Batista could be a person, but We don't know. He's also talking about he wants to return. So
yeah, the rumors are Batista may be coming back Royal Rumble, but
yeah. So I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing with the WWE Hall of Fame. If until they have an actual building with an actual address that I can pay my $15 to get into, it's all just dudes talking at the barbershop.
Right.
You know, there's no criterion. And you can say like for the Hall of Fame in any sport really, because like what makes a Hall of Famer? You know, is it championships? Is it what you brought to the game? Is it, you know, merch that you sold? Like, but Drew Carey and Pete Rose, you know, they weren't like stables on Raw. They weren't like institutions on Raw. Right. So, but they were both in there. But like no BS though. Jim Johnston.
Yo.
Not celebrity.
That'll be a sleeper.
Not celebrity. They need to record
all those themes that he created. Oh my god.
That's the
music in the Jim Johnston studio in Connecticut.
Yeah, Jim Johnston is just as him not renewing his contract is right up there with me with Hans Zimmer saying he wasn't doing any more superhero movies scores. Good. Like this is it's synonymous nowadays. So I mean that I don't even know what to say, but I see now it's like, geez, like it's got to be pretty rough when you have done something so long and you say that you are just tired of the in and out of the same thing over and over. You're not keeping the guy happy, but you know, and you know what too? It could be other things as well too. I mean,
well, I thought it was that they didn't renew his contract, not the other way around.
They didn't renew his because of him saying, unless I read this wrong, that he wasn't happy, and didn't, and you know, because of the the repetitiveness of the same thing over and over. But now that I'm thinking about this a little bit too. I mean, how does it feel knowing that you were solely involved of creating themes to now people like Baron Corbin outsources to get his theme? You know, how does that feel? You know, you working under your record label as a producer and they're getting beats from somebody else, you know?
I think that in any industry, there will be a wave of change and you will either roll with it or get rolled over on it.
That's it. That's what happened. That's what happened.
And I think that because WWE, they restarted their music imprint, they got their own producers with CFOs doing things. They outsource for these indie bands to come through and Spotify the whole damn thing. And I'm not saying that there's not a room for Jim Johnston. It's just that they don't necessarily need him when they're trying to go younger.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's the way of the world.
It is what it is. It's the business. But I do think that they should honor the man by, you know, giving him his props at the Hall of Fame next year.
Without a doubt. I mean, Lemmy went in, so yes, this has to happen.
Right. Which is, I mean, I guess, but you know,
Lemmy's done maybe this much, and Johnston has done this much. So,
and if you don't know who we're talking about specifically. Especially if you listen to like the Attitude Era stuff.
Yes.
WWF the Music. If you can find that CD or playlist, WWF the Music, that's basically Jim Johnston's work.
Yeah.
He played most of the instruments himself. He composed a lot of the music himself. But the bottom line is, if it was that note or that gong or that glass break or whatever it was that got you hyped, it was because he was the music that made it happen. So.
Honestly, my favorite music by him is the Sheamus themes. He has some of the famous composure of all Sheamus's music that I really love from the time Sheamus debuted in WWE.
Yeah.
So,
to be honest, too, it's not one Sheamus theme that I have never liked.
Right.
Yeah. So, and speaking of themes, I know March is, you know, it's a couple months away, but I'm bringing my A game. So I hope that you guys are ready for it.
Yep.
You know, when we do the
and if you guys aren't following, we're talking about our annually Big Gold Belt podcast wrestling theme music March Madness.
We need to shorten that name by a lot.
Yeah, we will. We'll get it together. This our third year getting it, so we'll make sure we get it right. Also, too, I mean, we had another topic too. I know we had to say something about Ronda Rousey before we get to the last little bit.
Yeah, and this is what it comes down to. Ronda Rousey, her signing in WWE is apparently imminent. She could debut as any time between, the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. She hasn't. I don't obviously I don't know her from the MMA. I only know her from like Mission Impossible.
Not even fast. About to say not even Fast and the Furious.
Nah.
Okay.
Was she in that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She fought Michelle Rodriguez on top of the building in Dubai before the red car decided to jump buildings.
Right.
Oh.
In the red dress. Matter of fact.
I don't remember that. Okay. I do remember that though.
When Tyrese was being Tyrese.
Well, Tyrese,
everyone.
I just gave Tyrese a shout out.
So Ronda Rousey joining the WWE. Who should be her opponent? Like, who should be her first program?
I got this easy. First of all, if anybody who watched the debut or just the special of NXT on USA Network yesterday, you also saw that there was a teaser of somebody debuting. By far, I think this has to be Shayna Baszler. It just showed Spades. She is the queen of Spades. That is her gimmick. So you've seen this ghost figure walk in. They were showing Spades figures in the back. So we know that she's part of the 4 horsemen of the women. Shayna Baszler making a debut needs a push. She's relevant, sort of say. People know who she is from the Mae Young Classic. Hopefully, she will carry this bad attitude, and she possibly could be one of the better heels that NXT Women's Division need, considering that Nikki Cross is kind of going face a little bit. And, there's no Oscar Berg over there no more. And the dynamic duo, not really super healer. So you need this tough attitude to come. Don't even give Ronda Rousey a program. Let her just be the wingman for Shayna Baszler until they are provoked enough that she needs a tag partner, and that her tag partner becomes a 4-on-4, which ultimately leads to WrestleMania. So keep her close, let her take bumps, let her perform some of her judo moves, but do not give her a match, because I believe that her name and her figure will sell, but her in-ring may totally hurt her.
Do you think that Ronda Rousey is, and we don't know what she can do in the ring as far as the wrestling is concerned, but do you think that she needs a mouthpiece as far as like a Paul Heyman type?
No, she did. She handled UFC presses. She handled them very good. That's what made her. That's what sell. Matter of fact, because in the UFC, whoever has the biggest mouth absolutely gets the biggest fights. That's just the trend. Right. So she has that reputation along with her winning streak at the time. So she's totally good. Quite frankly, Shayna Baszler needs this mouthpiece of Ronda Rousey more than anything. And matter of fact, if we can really do some justice for people, what's her name that just went up to the main roster? Oh my God, what's her name?
Sonya Deville.
Sonya Deville needs Ronda Rousey like no other. No other does she needs one. I think Paul Heyman would be a good look for her, but that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, so yeah,
this is hard for me.
No program, the sticker Nesta.
This is hard for me because my optimism is very low, but I'm just not excited about Ronda Rousey being in WWE. Just to the fact of how her MMA career ended, it's not like she ended on a high note, and you can bring that storyline of who can stop Ronda Rousey. That would be like the perfect blend. So I can't put her with Asuka because you don't want Ronda Rousey to lose under somebody who's quote unquote undefeated within WWE right now. You don't want to waste her by putting her against, jobbers. Who is somebody that midline that could bring it? And do you bring her as face? Do you bring her as heel? So if you bring her as a face, you can't use Bayley. Can't use someone like Nia Jax because that'll be unrealistic. Could you put her on SmackDown and have her go somebody like Carmella? And maybe Carmella could put her Money in the Bank on the line. I don't know. It's just they really have to be careful how they book this. Because if they book it wrong, it's going to be a terrible experience with Ronda Rousey.
First of all, she don't need to be near anybody you name because you have to build credentials in order to do it. And the other thing is too about whatever happened in UFC doesn't matter. You know why it doesn't matter? Because Brock Lesnar got suspended in what was that, July? He got suspended for steroid use.
I'm not confident that the overlap between WWE and UFC audience is that great.
No, it's not. Again, because Brock Lesnar got suspended for steroids against Mark Hunt and came to SummerSlam, and it was not even a thing. And Randy Orton took a jab, and it meant nothing because Brock Lesnar still went totally over. So it's not going to matter. They'll be so happy.
They had that Raw in Vegas, and Brock Lesnar couldn't go because he couldn't work
right.
So it means nothing. Means nothing. So, Ronda Rousey, like it or love it, she's a name. She will be in movies. And her star power enough being there will be fine. She just doesn't need to be near anybody that Sellers said because that's way too premier for her. She needs to stay. She should stay next to Shayna and just be a figure there. Now, you want to talk about intrigue, and I know I really want to hear you guys' thoughts on this. She stays with Shayna. Shayna debuts on NXT. They run through the whole NXT division, either as a tandem or just her manager, whatever it be. She interferes, whatever it may be. She just runs through. Shayna runs through all these people. So we already seen that they're trying to build the 4 horsewomen versus each other, right? Obviously, you have 2 on SmackDown. You have 2 on Raw. So the only place that this can happen is at a show that, promotes both brands. But Shayna Baszler is on NXT. There's no way she's going to be called up that fast. Where does this match happen? Would you like to see them be called up, especially for this event? Or would you like to see people get called down to NXT for it to happen?
Well, I think it might be better on NXT.
It would be better on NXT, but the idea of somebody being called down is not, I don't want to say realistic.
But could you make it an NXT like special event, like an NXT special? And it's not like a call down. It's like one of those things like Cesaro came down to fight Sami Zayn when one of the first NXTs came out when NXT came on the network.
Yeah,
and that wasn't a call
falls.
down.
Yeah,
that wasn't a call down, but that was something where you spotlighted Cesaro to go against somebody of Sami Zayn that you knew they was going to try to elevate.
Right. Well, I mean, honestly, they should, and I think they should do that more often. The Ascension went up to SmackDown and then came back down for one last match. You had Sami Zayn versus Antonio Cesaro. You had Big E. He came back and he challenged Bo Dallas, I think, one last time. So,
and Sami Zayn did it for Nakamura as well too, or was that Finn Balor?
Exactly. No, he did it for Nakamura.
Okay.
No, he got caught up right after that Nakamura match.
Yeah. Right. That was at NXT Dallas before WrestleMania.
Or the same thing with, whoever does the Andre the Giant Memorial, but just work whatever, but then return the next week. I mean, it could be done.
Or Kevin Owens working both for a little while before he officially went.
Good point. Sure. Yeah. So, but where do you want to see this? The invasion tactic does seem kind of cliches, but you do want to see. I mean, how awesome would it be for Shayna Baszler? No, she will have a match at NXT TakeOver New Orleans. She will. But the fact of the matter is, are the horsemen, women in the crowd for it? Do they actually get over? Do we get something to work there? Do they announce a match for them that night for tomorrow for WrestleMania? Like, how do you think they should book this? And I will say just this, and I'll let you guys speak. This cannot go into next 2019. This needs to happen like right now because it's the momentum of Ronda Rousey being signed is big. It's star power. It's WrestleMania like. You don't want to know that you have that person sitting there and not use them.
For whatever reason, she's a big deal, and they need to strike while the iron is hot because based on her name alone, we're talking about this. But if she gets in there and can't wrestle, or if she gets in there and looks totally lost, and we'll know the second that the bell rings, she goes for that first collar and elbow tie-up, we'll know if she really has it or if she's faking the funk.
Yeah.
And if she is, we'll bury her. Because what's going to turn out to be is that she's Ronda Rousey and she's a big deal, and we know that she sucks, and they're going to Roman Reigns her ass and just shove her down her throat until we like her.
So here's my problem. Here's my problem with that. Now I agree with everything you just said, but we're dealing with WWE here, which we just talked about earlier, the Woken of Matt Hardy, which was supposed to come out of April of last year, and it's not all the way to almost 1 full year later, where we getting a quote unquote hint of it. So but will WWE capitalize on it?
No, I don't think. But I think that if WWE wanted to capitalize on the Broken Hardy gimmick, they would have immediately. But because of the litigiousness of the situation, WWE, and rightfully so, stayed the hell away from it. They already had them under contract. They knew that they can get over between WrestleMania and SummerSlam, so they really didn't have to push the envelope until that ship kind of slowed down. The hype train did slow down, and this is where we are.
Yep.
Well, Jeff got hurt, and that didn't help, but the hype train was slowing down anyway, where it was like, okay, well, do I really need to see Team Extreme from 97? And they're 40 plus now? Maybe not. But, especially since we have this TNA thing as the elephant in the room. So for them to break it down right now, and they're not even broken, they're woken, which is a totally different gimmick for WWE to use. So this is probably like the best compromise for them. And because of lawyers, it took 6 months to get there.
Agree. Yep. And 6 months when you're talking lawyers is hella good. No matter what, it's hella good.
Right. So this is no different than going like, why is Bobby Roode here on the in the NXT? Because we know who he is. We know that it's not going to be Kevin Steen anymore. But then, oh my God, he's Kevin. Give us the last name quick. Oh shit, his son. He's Kevin Owens now.
Yeah. No. It's
all... get your. I said, get your Woken shirts now. But we all know what the deal is. And when they eventually leave WWE, and he does the broken gimmick for real, before they eventually retire it, this is probably the best compromise for him.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do they have those Woken shirts now?
No, but you know what?
We're looking at SEC.
No, but they do got those.
Day.
Hey.
Happy Rusev Day. You might have to see that on after Christmas.
Yeah.
That's like one of the best things going right now.
I'm definitely tracking that tracking number constantly. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, you already ordered it?
You already know.
Okay.
It's not released yet though. It's just you can just order it.
Okay. So I'm wearing a lot of Toronto stuff, as Josh so graciously pointed out. That because I was in Toronto for the Canusa Classic. It's Canada versus USA. It's an all-women's show. 7 matches, and of course, best of 7 series. And you know what? America wins, as we should, because America. But the match of the night, and if you want to go down the entire card, you can definitely head over to Smash Wrestling's website, smashwrestling.com, and their Twitter, Smash Wrestling. The absolute best match of the night, by far, was Alexia Nicole, who I've never seen before, and Jordan Grace. And Alexia Nicole is a tiny Alexa Bliss type of person. She's like 4'11", barely 100 pounds. And Jordan Grace looked like a damn grizzly bear compared to this poor woman. And it was just hard hitting for both women, and they put on a hell of a match. Everybody put on a hell of a match. Mercedes Martinez versus Rosemary was another good match that I'm definitely going to have to go back and watch. But there's a lot of names that I haven't seen before because I don't live up in that Buffalo, Toronto area. But I flew up there for Veda Scott, and I flew up there for Jordan Grace. And after the match, the Jordan Grace match, she got a "please come back" chant and a standing ovation, even though she lost the match, which was telling of how good she is. And at the end of the night, they give the winners a gold medal to win the U.S. versus Canada, and they give a MVP of the night, and Jordan Grace won MVP. Even though she lost her match. So a shout out to former guest of the show and good and friend of the show, Jordan Grace. It was a hell of a match, and I actually tweeted her after the her match was over, and she said that she cried because she had really that genuine love that was in the crowd that night was really special, and the crowd absolutely A lot of them haven't seen her before. A lot of people were surprised that I told them that A, I'm American, and B, I flew up for this. They were like, well, damn, how good is she? Watch. Yup. And everybody agreed. And so that was a really, really, really special time. I can't wait. I can't wait till next year. But if Jordan Grace is ever in Toronto for Smash, I'll definitely be there. But speaking of women, Michael Elgin is a dick.
Okay. Speaking of Mercedes Martinez, definitely check out the interview that'll be coming out from the Square Circle Sirens from them. So that's going to be pretty awesome. And also, too, they put out a lot of great articles for their Woman of the Year. Speaking of that, Jordan Grace came out today.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. But if you want to see what happened, they have their Women of the Year awards.
Yeah.
Go and check them out. SES Sirens on Twitter. SquareCircleSirens.com. So yeah, go check them out. Dennis, Casey, and the boys, they do a hell of a work, and definitely don't spoil it. But they need to see what the work is, and it's a comprehensive list. So
you just made the list,
guys.
Sorry, had to do it.
So we were touching on this really quickly because I really hate giving this the coverage that it gets. But if you don't know what happened with Michael Elgin and his involvement in an alleged sexual assault in the company that he owns,
I'm almost about
Glory Pro Wrestling.
I'm almost about to cut you off because it flipped the internet. It's just how about Actor of the Year awards? That's what we should be talking about.
Well, calm down. We're gonna get there. If you don't know what happened, you can search the internet and figure it out. Now, here's the thing: Elgin is actually losing dates. Smash Wrestling, they have a show on December 17th. In Toronto, in downtown Toronto at the Phoenix Theater. So definitely go check them out. And they have pulled Elgin from the show. Limitless Wrestling in Maine, which is another destination I need to get to. They have a show on January 19th. They've also said no. So the bottom line is, number one, don't be a dick. Number two, if your friend is a dick, check him. And number three, there's no excuse for assault. There's no excuse for any type of impropriety in that manner. I don't care who you are or where you come from. No means no. It is not okay. It's never be okay. And as fans, I think that we should do a little bit more homework and give the people that deserve our money our actual time and effort and affection and love. Because if you are a promoter and you have a guy in your show that is complicit in sexual assault, as a fan, you should not support that show. You should tell everyone involved to go fuck themselves because that's not okay. So that's my little rant on that thing. The whole situation is an ugly bit of business internally, but it's the internet. But I will say that, and Michael Elgin's a hell of a wrestler and all that good stuff, but that matters. It is very important that as fans, we spend our money and we should spend it on the people that deserve it. That guy can go scratch. The end of the year is upon us. It is December 7th. It's 2 weeks and 3 days till Christmas, something like that. The end of the year awards. We're not going to do it tonight. We're not going to do it tonight because that's too much time and effort. But just give me a sense of what you're feeling for your match of the year, male and female performer of the year, segment of the year. We'll put together the official categories and bring it to you at a later date before the end of the year. But did any match of the year candidate stand out for you?
Yeah, in the beginning, I was going one way with it, and I'm totally going different now because I totally forgot about the match of the year. Now, this match There was a part one of this match that I didn't get to see live because I wasn't in Orlando. But I was able to see the PWG Battle of LA tournament, and that Donovan Dijak Keith Lee match is absolutely my match of the year. Those two guys are explosive. I mean, they defy gravity. They just do whatever the hell they want to do in the ring. Go check that out. That's absolutely my match of the year.
For me, I would say, and this, I was thinking about this until this match happened recently. And the only reason why I'm saying this is because I'm a story guy. When I look at in-ring action, I like to see what happens, what develops in the ring, how the chemistry is going, and do you tell a story when you do that? So I would say the Aleister Black versus the Velveteen Dream was my match of the year. It may not be the most clean match that ever happened, but the way that story told throughout that whole 25 minutes, that was like old school classic storytelling to me. So that's literally my match of the year. I was very surprised of how well that was, or how good that match was.
Interesting that you would say that and bring up the storytelling aspect and not mention Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne from NXT TakeOver Chicago.
Oh my God.
I'm not saying that you're wrong, because Black versus Dream was a hell of a match. But if you want to really talk about the story, I mean, and you're not going to get much better than that this year. And that's not even my match of the year, by the way.
Chicago was on fire that weekend. I tell you that.
And you know what the best part about it was? Is that no one expected that match to be that good.
Nah. You know,
I mean, it was like a, when it started, it was like a, okay, this would be cool. Let's see what they got. And then the crowd stood for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it was insane.
Yeah. Yep. I'll be in Chicago next year for Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. I still wanted it. Did you already get your tickets for that?
It's not on sale yet.
Not on sale.
Oh, okay.
Nowhere on sale.
I really want to go to that.
No, that's absolutely happening. Like, yeah, I'm on it. Even if I got to take the yellow banana to get there for the Lolo.
Don't do that to yourself.
I'm getting there. Chicago atmosphere is cool. Commute was chill. I know I'm going to see some good indie
Uber drives. I don't know about the Uber drives out the west side.
I will rent a car this time before I let that happen again.
2 Chainz, keep me posted on that. Like, literally, I want to go to Chicago back.
Oh, it's when they come on sale, it's happening. Even if I'm not going to play around and make sure I get the Money in the Bank, but I will be there if NXT is in town for sure too. So
Money in the Bank is going to be a co-branded show this year. So
that's actually it should have NXT branded. I mean, NXT is doing a lot more tour dates, so I'm pretty sure they're just progressively going to keep picking up takeovers. So we'll see. Right. And the roster's getting only bigger, so they're going to be able to do these easily. And they also have done takeovers in Chicago, so it just all makes sense. So yeah.
I'm like 95% count me in 2 Chainz. We're going to link up on that. Seriously.
Yep. Woman of the year, Oscar Berg. I mean, is that up for debate?
I mean, obviously, that's got to be up for consideration.
Or Tony Storm.
I think I was going to say Tony Storm should definitely be in that conversation as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's that's another tough one. Io Shirai, I would put in that conversation as well.
Lufisto had a pretty dominant year too. I mean, didn't get the mainstream press like Oscar.
Lufisto's been like Sean Champion forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Now she's a dual champion now. So yeah, but for guys, I mean, you can go. Naito had a pretty damn good year too. A lot of quality matches. The match with him and Kenny Omega was pretty good. What was that at again? Was that the G1?
I believe that was towards the end of the G1. Yes.
And
it's hard to argue against Cody Rhodes.
I called Cody Rhodes last year. That's probably going to be on paper. That we saw the potential breaking out last year, and it only got better this year.
I mean, Cody Rhodes versus Okada was nuts.
Yeah.
And that was at the US G1 preview.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love those guys. Keith Lee, I think, has had a hell of a year. He's currently the Evolve champion, and he's. I'm not going to say he came from nowhere, but I think after he came on our show, he's just been blowing up, and I think we should take full credit for that.
I mean, anytime he works a match or works an event in the city, yeah, the internet knows. If you didn't know about him before, you know about him after that. So he comes in town, he does his thing,
right.
And blast back to that man's glory.
I mean, we'll have to narrow it down eventually, but I'm going to say for me, it's for Male Performer of the Year, Keith Lee, Pete Dunne, and Christ, I would say The Miz.
Yeah, no, we would definitely break it down, because if it comes down to performer or just overall wrestler of the year,
because we have the match of the year already, and that's whatever it is. The Male Performer of the Year is something different. It doesn't necessarily have to include the match that they had, but just the overall everything that makes you
right.
Yeah, we'll get it all settled. What's your early takes, Salas?
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about indie guys. It's very hard. I might have to go Adam Cole as an early
had a hell of a year
indication,
too.
Just because of how much he's done this year, and even making it to NXT or WWE brand, which is something that's been a lifelong goal of his. And then not only that, have a marquee match where he won the match. It goes out of the way. I could even say Jinder Mahal, from the time when we saw him, in Dallas just 2 years ago, not doing anything, just being a regular old Joe, to being the world champion 2 years later.
He would definitely be up there for consideration for gimmick of the year for sure.
Yeah. It's really hard to say. I mean, like, literally on a low key endpoint, if you want to think about it, Enzo Amore.
No,
he's probably been one of the most talked about, and even he's a champion. You may like it or not, he's still a champion of holding his own.
No.
Yeah, that's a hard no.
I won't be putting him on anything besides potentially flop of the year.
And I know Matt Hardy was my choice last year when he did all the things he did for building his own brand. So I like to go with these guys that are off the radar types, but definitely do a lot. But realistically, I would say Adam Cole would probably be my.
What's so funny about Salas? He mark out for his guys anytime besides the times he need to mark out for his guy.
I do.
Cody Rhodes was the safe answer here, sir.
No, I can't go Cody. I can't go Cody.
How? Why not? The guy. He's the R-Race champion. Kiss the ring. Kiss the freaking ring. Merch sales is crazy. Obviously, one of the most talked about wrestlers.
They're looking for a 10,000 seat building to host their own show.
Yeah, you're right.
They're doing some things. They're doing some things out there. I mean, he's carrying the Bullet Club right now. I mean, Omega's doing his thing, but Cody Rhodes is definitely carrying the Bullet Club.
We need to talk about that too, because what really is the Bullet Club? And we'll save that for later.
Yeah,
but when I think of the Bullet Club,
it's Cody.
I think of 5 or 6 guys. I don't think of the dudes in Japan nowadays.
Yeah. No, yeah. Again,
so we need to talk about what's really going on over there.
And Stephen Amell is in the Bullet Club, right?
Oh God. Okay.
Sort of, but you know what though? I'm gonna say this before we done talking. That match he had, it was like he was in elementary school in WWE and he went straight to high school on ROH, because that was he was taking spots that I don't even know. Maybe WB don't know or CW doesn't know, but he was taking some bumps and some spots that might have been a little questionable for a guy that hasn't been in the ring much. He went through a table. No, he put somebody through it. He went through a table. I mean, my bad. Was it a flaming table? No, it wasn't. He went through a table. But yeah, nonetheless, yeah, Stephen Amell is an honorary Bullet Club member. And he has a shirt too, so you can go get that too. The Vigilante Club. It's on sale. It's not a hot topic yet, but it's out there. But yeah, we'll definitely have our end of the year awards. We'll do that. We'll get that out before the New Year's. Covering all things, all different categories. We'll make some fun of it. Hopefully we'll get the whole crew on for it. But we'll definitely do that. So any closing remarks from any of you guys?
Glad to be back. I know you guys been holding the fort down for interviews and stuff like that. Life happens for me, of course, but ain't nothing about talking about good old wrestling.
That's for sure. You, my man, Giant.
Yeah, I will say that I'm looking at one thing. It is reported that WWE is looking into hosting a global warming pay-per-view next year, and it could take place at the MCG cricket grounds. It's a 100,000 seat stadium. It's a pretty famous arena for cricket, and according to the report, WWE has had serious internal discussions about hosting another event under the global warming name in 2002 and attended by 50,000 people. Pro Wrestling Sheet notes that WWE wants to top this and broadcast it on, and where available, WWE Network. So that just came across my desk within the last 5 minutes. So Australia gets left out for a lot of shenanigans. Getting up a Tuesday morning to watch Raw at 7 a.m. I would definitely be down for a live event from Australia, at 4 a.m. Eastern. But 100,000 people at the MCG, yeah, that'd be pretty badass.
On what part of it is it out there?
What do you mean?
What part Australia?
It's the Melbourne Cricket Grounds.
Okay. East.
No, well, Melbourne. Well, it's Melbourne, but Melbourne is in Victoria, which is in the southern part of Australia.
Okay, in the middle. Okay, cool.
So Sydney is and Melbourne is south.
And
I'm down.
And for me, like I said, stay tuned. We got some more interviews coming up this month, so we got a lot of work to do. Thanks for rocking with us. We've got a lot of big announcements we're going to be coming up with. It's only going to get better. So to stay tuned, more sooner than later. And as we head directly into Nova Pro's year concluding show of Such Great Heights, which will be live streaming on Powerbomb TV. And we will be getting our end of the year awards and all this other good stuff. So yeah. So that's all I have. Again, you guys got anything else?
All right.
I'm good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think we're good. So you know what? We'll see you next Thursday, and we'll have Gunnar Miller on the show, right?
Yes. You said Thursday? Yes.
That's right. Next Thursday.
That's that announcement. That's that announcement.
Right. So we'll be talking to Gunnar Miller, the corporate champion of the 1%. Title match at the next Nova Pro show. We're going to be talking about that.
Yes.
Come, later on.
Match with King of Bro.
Yeah. We're going to be talking about his match with Matt Riddle. So, yeah, Gunnar Miller next week. So, if you've been impressed by him, you want to hear this.
Yeah, and check out this last match from Black Label Pro and the promo he cut afterwards, too. Hey, it's going to be a good show. So, just stay tuned for that, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
So until then, there's Silly Sellers. Thanks for dropping in. 2 Chains is over there. Thank you, sir. And I'm Jamal the Giant Crab, just the guy in a blue hat apparently. And we'll see you next week with Gunnar Miller.